In the woodlands of the eastern United States, there is an animal that most residents will meet only 3 or 4 times in their lives. It keeps to a schedule of 17 years, in some regions 13, and when its date arrives, it does not trickle back into the world. It returns in the billions, everywhere at once, on time, as if the forest had an alarm set decades ago. These are the periodical cicadas of the genus Magicicada, 7 species found nowhere on Earth but eastern North America. Cicadas at large are true bugs, insects with piercing mouthparts built to drink plant sap, and most of the world's thousands of cicada species live ordinary, annual lives. The periodical species do something else entirely. Their populations are organized into broods, vast regional cohorts, each running on its own synchronized clock, so that a given forest hosts one constituency of cicadas, all the same age, all underground, all due on the same year. The underground years are the hidden bulk of the animal's life. The nymph hatches from an egg laid in a twig, drops to the soil, digs, and attaches itself to a tree root, where it drinks the thin sap of the root's plumbing for 13 or 17 years, growing slowly through its stages in the dark, a few centimeters down, while presidencies and childhoods pass overhead. Then, in the spring of the appointed year, the cohort takes its cue from the ground itself. When the soil at depth warms past a threshold of about 18 degrees Celsius, 64 Fahrenheit, the brood moves. On a single warm evening, the forest floor opens. Nymphs tunnel up by the million, climb the nearest vertical surface, split their old skins, and unfold into winged adults, leaving the empty husks studded across every trunk like rivets. What follows lasts roughly a fortnight, and it is one of the loudest events in the insect world. A chorus of males that, close up, has been measured at the volume of power tools, courtship, mating, and egg-laying compressed into days. And the brevity is the point, because the periodical cicada's whole survival strategy is arithmetic. Emergence densities have been recorded in the hundreds of thousands of insects per acre. Every bird, raccoon, snake, squirrel, and dog in the forest eats cicadas until it cannot continue, and the dent they make is trivial. The predators are saturated. The overwhelming majority of cicadas mate and lay unhunted. This is predator satiation, the same defense the wildebeest's birth pulse uses on the Serengeti, pushed to its logical extreme. And the years of absence are the other half of the weapon. No predator can specialize on a prey that exists for 2 weeks out of 17 years. The cicada hides in time the way other animals hide in burrows, absent too long to be depended on, present too briefly and too massively to be controlled. There may be one more layer, and it deserves exact phrasing. 13 and 17 are prime numbers, and some mathematicians and biologists have proposed that the primes are functional. A cycle that divides into nothing avoids falling into step with shorter-cycled predators and keeps neighboring broods from hybridizing their clocks apart. It is an elegant hypothesis with real models behind it, and it remains a hypothesis, debated rather than settled, which is how it should be said. The schedule has its parasite, because every fortress does. A fungus, Massospora, infects emerging cicadas, consumes the rear of the abdomen, and replaces it with a plug of spores, the insect continuing to fly and court, dusting its own kind with infection as it goes. Even a 2-week window, once every 17 years, is enough for something to have evolved a key. The colonists of New England, meeting their first emergence in the 1630s, reached for the only word they had for insects in such numbers, and called them locusts, a misnomer that has clung for 4 centuries. Locusts are grasshoppers and they come to eat. The cicadas come only to sing and breed and end. By midsummer, the adults are gone, the eggs are hatching, and the next cohort of nymphs is raining down from the twigs to dig in and begin the long wait. For 2 weeks, the woods are deafening. Then the sound switches off, the husks weather off the bark, and the forest goes back to keeping its secret. That under every acre of quiet ground, an entire generation is already counting.